right. I want to welcome everyone back to the cool table. You're listening to CJTM Met Radio in Toronto. We have a friend of the show. I think it's our first time doing any type of interview. Is this correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
This is one of the few people who I've known for years, but we've never done anything like this. Welcome to the show, living legend, Christina Smith.
Hi guys, that's a what an intro.
I
Thank
feel like I
you.
threw you for a loop there.
A little bit. But I'm grateful. Thank you.
We're here to talk about Honey Jam. I think one of the best kind of annual events in the city. Canada's first and longest running female artist development program, celebrating 30 years. Coming pretty soon, July 30th at Massey Hall. I'm very excited. This is something that as soon as I knew about you guys, I was like, this is something I have to be a part of. So I'm very excited. Let's start from the top. Tell us your Honey Jam origin story.
Yeah, so it's funny. Not a lot of people know this, but I had actually auditioned in 2018 and I had done a pop song that was an original, which is now available. But at the time I had auditioned and I wasn't sitting in the pocket of it, so I didn't make it that year. But in 2019, I had re-auditioned and I had done classical music because I was like, let me find something that makes me a little bit different. And so I did a classical piece and got in. And since then, I've just been really fortunate to have some of my best friends be part of the program with me. I've written songs with a lot of the artists that are part of Honey Jam. We've gone to New York, like we've done so many incredible things. And I'm just really grateful to have been able to do that in such a safe space with other women who are also grinding and doing the work alongside me.
That's one thing I love about Honey Jam is the sense of community I can just feel from you guys. Now, to my core, I am a girl's girl, but when I see you guys get together, that's when I feel left out because it does feel like such a big family and you guys all kind of love each other. So you saying that, I'm like, that's what it feels like from the outside. This is the one time I'm like, "Ugh, I can't be a part of this club, but I
You
love it for
can't
you
sit with us.
guys. Yeah. Okay, you went too far. You went too far. Okay. But it is honestly great to hear because Honey Jam is one of those programs where behind the scenes I tell a lot of artists about it who are unaware. Some of them are aware, they see what you guys do, but I'm like, you gotta try and get with them. Like it's a real sisterhood over there. So I'm very, very happy to hear that. You showed a lot of love to your vocal coach. I want you to give them some love here again because they are clearly part of your journey. And I think that's something that, at least in 2025, a lot of artists don't always go with a vocal coach. Some people have
Mm.
never had one. So talk about how that has impacted your career and kind of just what you've done since then.
Yeah, shout out to Carol Hassick like every day because she actually has been a mentor and I feel very fortunate that we've worked together for so long that I really get to call her my friend. We started to work together when I was in high school, so I was about 17, and she's just been on this journey with me. She's also like never given up on me, even when I gave up on myself. There were times when I was like, I just don't want to do this. I didn't want to go to Western for classical music. I didn't want to go to U of T because I wanted it to be something that I liked doing and something that I wanted to do. And she understood that and she respected that. And so like just being able to grow with her as a constant and her knowing my voice and knowing when I'm stressed and knowing when I've been traveling too much or over singing, like it's just been the biggest blessing because she's also been somebody that I can confide in. And also being another woman as well, I think it's been just one of the most valuable things for me.
Having that person who kind of can take care of you more than you take care of yourself, underrated.
Mm,
Underrated. I had an old manager. This is when I was working, three jobs at once. And she saw me come into work one time and was like, I'm not scheduling you anymore. You need to go sleep. And I was
mm,
like, please, no. She's like, no. If you're broke, you tell me, but you're working more than here. This is your last shift. And I was
mm.
like, I always remember that because I must have looked haggard for her just to say that off the site. But you need people like that who are gonna take one look at you and be like, you're not taking care of yourself.
You're not
Let me do it
okay.
for you. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely huge. I have this phrase that I always say, and my partner, she disagrees with this over and over again. So I'm hoping you're here to agree with me. I say
Okay.
you don't choose who you fall in love with, okay? That's what I always say. Kind of the
Mm.
universe chooses for you. But you said the opera chose you. That feels like the universe working some magic there. Talk about why you say opera chose you and you kind of didn't choose opera.
Yeah, because I think, when you're younger, especially when you're a teenager, you want to be this pop star, you want to be the next Rihanna, you want to be the next Beyonce. And I think just my life experiences, like it wasn't an accident that I moved to Jamaica when I was about 11 years old. And that was where I actually discovered classical music as a career. Like I had always listened to it at home, but that was where I really got to see it in an authentic way. And I think that's where what I mean when I say that it chose me, because I could have done it the traditional way. I could have gone to Western, I could have gone to U of T, but it wouldn't have felt right. And every way that I've done classical music, every way that I've done opera, it has always found me in the hardest of times. And so I can't say that I chose it. I have to say that it chose me, and it continues to choose me in the hardest of times.
That's a blessing, okay? One thing we always say is God don't make mistakes. So that's clearly a blessing, straight from the one above. You were on Canada's Got Talent. Now, America's Got Talent is one of those shows that wasn't one of my guilty pleasures for a while. A lot of people don't know my background is in television, and when I first got into television, I couldn't watch TV the same. Everything
Mm,
was happening on the screen, and I'm just being like, "Oh my God, look at the lighting here! Look at how they pan the cameras." And so I could only watch like Jersey Shore and those kind of reality shows because it was
yep.
just not as intentional. Okay, so those shows have had a place in my heart for a long time. Talk about your experience on Canada's Got Talent and kind of how do you think about that now after it's been a few years?
Yeah, it was such a honestly, I remember I was in Jamaica when I had heard it was kind of during the aftermath of COVID, and I had heard that they were doing auditions, and so I did my original audition tape while I was in Jamaica because I was like, somehow this feels like I like it's for me. And this was also at a time when I was working in insurance and kind of trying to figure out like what was next in my life. And so I did the audition, and then I got an email back, and they were like, "We love what you did. Can you send us another one?" By that time, I had just gotten back to Toronto. So I sent another audition tape. They were like, "We love this one too. Can you send us another one?" I think that went about for like maybe 5 rounds. So I sent about 5 different videos. And they were like, "Yes, come to Niagara, come do that." And so I did, and it honestly was such a surreal experience. The producers were so supportive, and they just wanted to tell your story as honestly as possible. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because I think a lot of times we hear like a lot of reality shows and with media, people just kind of tell your story for you. But with CGT, I think they really wanted to know who we were and to tell that in the way that felt authentic. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful. It feels like one of those milestones again at a time when I was like, should I still be in music? Should I still be doing this? Like, is this sustainable? That came at that time and it was really a solidifier. And it actually, I hope they don't watch this interview, but it actually was one of those things that kind of made me quit my insurance job. So yeah,
Period.
yeah.
No, we love that. I think those are always the moments, especially as a creative in Canada. You need those moments to be like, okay, do I make the turn here? Do I make the change here? I had one of those moments a couple years ago that blows my mind. I had never talked about this on the radio show, but I think it was Manifesto. I was there covering a story, the Amine performance, and as I'm leaving, one of the people working their security comes up to me and says, I watch your show. I'm going to be on your show one day. Just wait. I have
Mm,
music ready to go. And I was obviously
mm,
shocked. Like, this is just a random dude doing security telling me he's going to be on my show one day.
yeah.
I asked him if he had the wrong person, you know? I was like, are you sure it's me? Are you sure this is, you know? And thinking about those moments, it's like they always come at the right time. So big shout out to CGT, big shout out to Leaving Insurance. I'm sure you don't miss it. So I'm very, very
I
excited
miss
for
the
that.
people. I miss the people, but the purpose it is more. The
Yes, no,
purpose it means more.
no, exactly, exactly. One thing I think is interesting is I want you to talk about kind of your journey in this space that is not, I guess, opera friendly. I think that's something that's really big because when I played music, that's something that kind of hindered me a bit was I was doing a lot of classical and I wanted to do more pop, more
Mhm.
R&B. And I think, like you said, that's kind of the dream of everyone. I don't think people dream of being a big opera singer when you're younger. You know, you don't have that example. So talk about, I guess, how that's been going forward. You've clearly created a niche for yourself. You know, it seems to be going well, but I guess for anyone else who's younger, like the 11-year-old you, they're not doing pop and they're thinking about switching. Do you have any words for them?
I would say, I mean, I've said this quite a bit, but I really do stand by it. In the words of the late, great Jesse Norman, pigeonholes are only comfortable for pigeons. And so, with that being said, like, shout out Jesse Norman. I can't say that enough. She really was somebody that understood what it means to not limit yourself. And so, as much as I've been able to pivot and I'm very fortunate, I would say that you have to allow yourself to be so open to what might be next. And so even if classical music is working out, like you I would challenge any younger person to say, what else can I do? How do I challenge myself? How do I push myself? How do I surround myself with people and environments that are going to force me to grow? Right. And that was a thing for me that I had to really sit with for a long time because it was easy to do pop and it was easy to do classical music technically. Like my voice, it was easy for me to do that. What was hard was finding a way to blend them both in a way that forced me to stand in my own light and not in someone else's. That's the hard part, is doing the thing in a way that feels authentic and then communicating that and inspiring other people to do the same thing. And so that's what I think I would say to somebody who is younger is know that your gift is yours, but it's not just yours. It's the blueprint for someone else to develop theirs. And that's how I feel about Jesse Norman. And I hope that someday someone is going to feel that way about me.
Wow. I think that's powerful. It's like it is not just yours. I know someone said to me years ago, it's like your gift and not taking it serious is almost an affront to the people who believe in you.
Yes.
And so I think that that's a big, big part of it, too. We haven't talked about Honey Jam enough. I wanted you to give people something they can expect because I think people know about you guys as an organization. They know the work that you do. But for anyone who hasn't been to a show, what can they expect?
This show is going to be very different from shows in the past. So, for the 30th anniversary, what we're doing is we're having just alums. And so these are women who've been part of the program since the 90s, right up until 2024. And so the theme for this is inspirations, which is very much tied into what we were talking about before. And so a lot of the artists are doing covers of songs that were either written or performed by artists that inspired their careers. And so what you can expect from this is, quite frankly, so many different genres. We have country, we have rock, we have soca for the first time ever. We have dance hall, of course, classical music. Yeah, and of course it's at the Massey Hall, like the legendary Massey Hall. So this is the first time they've ever done this, and it'll be a seated concert. So I think that'll be a very different energy from Honey Jam concerts in the past. But I think it's going to bring so much elevation to the show. I'm excited for people to see this.
I'm excited for Massey Hall, one of my favorite venues. The last time I was there, I saw Andre 3000 and New Blue Sun.
Mm.
Don't tell anyone. I fell asleep. I wasn't the only one, but I fell asleep. But I think Massey Hall almost a spiritual experience unto itself, just because of how amazing the venue is. So I'm very, very
The history there is insane. Aretha
no.
Franklin was there.
No, 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 literally. I'm like, listen, that's what I want to do one day. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get in there, but I gotta get Massey Hall one day too. So
That's
I'm
it.
absolutely there with you. Now, before we get into our final question, we have this segment on the radio show called Wednesday Wisdom. We look for a motivational quote or saying that either you remind yourself of or the people around you. So what is that for you? That motivational quote that you just have running in your mind just constantly?
That's a good question. I would say walk through this world like somebody's ancestor.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of
That one
pressure.
changed my life. That one changed my life. It made me really think about like small
Hmm.
decisions and how they just impact the bigger picture. Again, not for yourself, but for the people that come after you.
Hmm.
Walk through this world like someone's ancestor.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, we gotta give some snaps for that because I, I it's crazy. I've been talking about that a lot lately, because I think we're gonna be the first generation where our grandkids can look us up. And I've
Mm-hmm.
always thought about that. You think about you see an old picture of your dad or your mom, and you're like, "Ooh, they was fly." your grandkids, great grandkids are gonna go through your whole Instagram
And
and be
see
able to be
videos.
yeah, everything and be like, ooh, they were this, they were that. So I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And then last but not least, is there someone who you want to see perform as a special guest at Honey Jam? Perform, show up. You just want them to see them
Oh,
involved. And they don't have to be Canadian. Okay, you can take this
okay. Well, thank
anywhere.
you. Yeah. Uh, I would say my absolute inspiration,
Hmm.
FKA Twigs. I would love to see her
Ooh.
show up to this for more reasons than one. Um,
Hmm.
but also because she like didn't do her Canadian tour. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I would love to see her here.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone's gonna meet you with that one. FKA Twigs,
FKA Twigs.
secretly one of my faves. Like at first I wasn't really feeling her. And then the more I got into her music, I was like, she got some bangers. So that would
She's
be
a
a good
genius.
one.
And her message,
Yeah.
like she just has such a she has such a heart for certain causes. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
I would love for her to be at this show.
Nah, I think that's a good one. I don't think we can top that. Okay, so for anyone, if you didn't get it from this point on, send the people off with how they can get tickets for Honey Jam, what to expect, and all the information they need.
Yep, so we're going to be, of course, at Massey Hall. The show is July 30th. The doors open at 7 and the show is at 8. Tickets are $30 to celebrate 30th anniversary. So very, very accessible. And of course, we have a whole bunch of different genres. The theme is inspiration, so there'll be covers. It'll be all women. So please, please come through and just have a great time.